Is yoga aerobic exercise? Yes, and no. Yoga is not a cardiovascular exercise that develops your cardio system such as bicycling or jogging. However, it is an aerobic activity that strengthens the body's ventilation mechanism, circulation. In regard to volume and intensity, if yoga is performed properly, then it should be considered an interval session, consisting of high-intensity exercise followed by periods of rest. Because in between poses you are breathing very deeply in a focused way, your heart rate will elevate much like interval training does for runners or bikers. The important factor is that you do not hold your breath during these types of yoga workouts. Instead, ensure good breathing patterns with deep inhalations and exhalations at all times. While performing 2 positions of 20 to 30 breaths each may not seem like a lot of work to your body, it will be a good aerobic activity if you are breathing properly. Is yoga aerobic or strength training? As we all know, the majority of people love doing workouts for the sake of losing weight or gaining muscles, but then there are some others who prefer holistic fitness, which involves various types of exercises like balance, flexibility, and coordination too. Of course, these 2 different groups of people have a different set of goals in mind, so it's understandable if they think about different factors while choosing their workout sessions. There are so many other people who think they have to learn how to do yoga and then start doing it, but before actually starting off themselves, they try figuring out if yoga is a workout for them or not. Is yoga aerobic or strength training? Well, these are all valid questions because regardless of what kind of goals you have in your mind, you need to figure out the purpose behind every session. As such, when you keep asking yourself whether you can benefit from any particular activity or not, then you should have a good enough reason for doing so. These reasons might be different for each individual, but in our case, we will actually help you find a very solid answer for the question, is yoga aerobic or strength training? Whether yoga is a workout for you or not highly depends on what your priorities are. If flexibility and balance are in the topmost position on your list of fitness goals, then you should definitely go ahead and start with yoga because it will help improve your overall body coordination too. In addition to this, if your main purpose behind doing workouts is weight loss, then you had better stick to some other forms of exercise like dance aerobic, Zumba, and spinning because these types of activities tend to burn more calories than yoga can. But if your goal is muscular development, then Yoga Men Bikram Yoga provides you with all the benefits that you need. And yes, if strength alone matters most to you, then yoga can help build strength in your muscles the same way as other workouts will do so. Is power yoga aerobic? It depends on how you define aerobic. Power yoga is not cardio, that's for sure. There is no high-intensity interval training, HIIT, or steady-state activity in the traditional practice of power yoga. However, because there are sweat-inducing asanas and heats, poses, performed in a heated room with warm body temperatures and heavy breathing, it can be argued that power yoga disciplines the respiratory system similar to steady-state aerobics. From a physiological standpoint, power yoga is neither aerobic nor anaerobic. In other words, in terms of the energy systems involved during practice, it's not solely related to the aerobic or anaerobic pathways. It strives to balance both metabolic pathways and achieve interdependent improvement in both the phosphagen and lactic acid systems. Is Bikram yoga aerobic exercise? That depends on how you define aerobic exercise. The context for this answer lies in the question of whether Bikram yoga is an appropriate form of exercise to include in a serious athlete's training schedule. To put it simply, Bikram yoga is not aerobic exercise because Bikram will not improve your VO2 max like long slow distance running or cycling, or many other sports, 2 forms of physical activities that are considered aerobic, and which have been shown to be essential components of effective athletic performance. Why? Because Bikram doesn't elevate your heart rate above 100 beats per minute. More specifically, sometimes it's DOS, but often not even close. In contrast, VO2 max testing usually produces a heart rate well over 100 bpm.